The new Guild Museum features an extremely cool concept that adds a lot to the guild system. So here's everything you should know so your guild can start off strong this year. To unlock the Guild Museum, you go talk to Finn in front of the guild house tree, and he'll send you on 2 quests. One to be able to get the guild island, and this quest rewards you with 1 quintessent. This quintessent will be used to unlock the actual island, and then also later on it will be used to craft the quintessent core, which we'll talk about a little bit later. The second quest will send you on a journey to Avalon to be able to get a curator so it can help you unlock the Avalon gallery room. Quintessent cores are crafted from Ian in the museum main hall. There are 2 different ways to craft them. Either by using a quintessence that you get from the first quest of the Guild Museum, or by using 90 Azoth to craft it. This quintessent core is later deposited into the Prima Magnus to activate a potion effect that will allow you to start collecting Prima Materia, which is the item that you need to collect from mobs and bosses that will be automatically deposited into the Guild Museum to unlock new exhibits and to unlock different tiers of the Guild Museum itself. The player that has the quintessent core in their possession would go up to the Prima Magnus and deposit it in there. Once the Prima Magnus is deposited, all players will magic touch the active Prima Magnus, and they would get a potion effect depending on how many people magic touch the Prima Magnus. There are 3 different tiers that can be achieved with the Prima Magnus. These tiers depend on the amount of players that magic touch it. Tier 1 is activated with a minimum of 2 players up to 5, and will give you 1 drop of Prima Materia per mob killed. This is called basic Prima magnetism. Tier 2 is achieved with a minimum of 6 to 11 players and will give you 2 drops of Prima Materia per mob killed. This is called standard Prima Materia. Tier 3 is achieved with a minimum of 12 players and up, and will reward a player with 3 Prima Materia per mob killed. This is called the superior Prima magnetism. Once you have the Prima magnetism effect active on a player, you may head to the specific mob in Avalon and start farming the items. To figure out what mobs drop what items, you'll have to go to the museum gallery and interact with the exhibits. Once you interact with an exhibit, it will show you the menu. This menu will have the exhibit name, a short description of what the item is, and the items that you'll need to be collected. At the bottom, it will show you the boss or mob that drops the item and what location he is in. If you want to find the mob a little bit easier, look up the name on the Wizard 101 wiki, and it will tell you exactly where he is and all of his stats. To check the next item, what you have to do is just press on the next item's picture, and it will show you the mob's name and the location where to farm him. Also, make sure when you're in the battles farming for Prima Materia that you have at least 2 players per battle. If you only have 1, you won't be able to collect any Prima Materia. You need a minimum of 2, and of course you can have up to 4 players per battle. When you activate the Prima Magnus and magic touch it, you'll have a potion effect like we said. This potion effect will last 1 hour. However, the Prima Magnus does not disable for 45 minutes. So that means around 30 minutes to 40 minutes of farming, you can go back to the Prima Magnus and reset your 1 hour potion, which in general will give you an extra 30 to 40 minutes of farming before it times out. This feature is also meant for people that were not able to start with you guys, but are able to join within the first 45 minutes. They can go up to the Prima Magnus with some of the players and activate the potion effect on themselves and continue farming with you guys. So make sure to activate it, wait till everyone is around to get the highest tier you can get. So let's say if you're farming with 6 players, you want to make sure all 6 players are there so you can get tier 2. If it's only reactivated with 2 or 3 people, you'll only get a tier 1 effect. After the timer runs out, the Prima Magnus goes on a cooldown for 48 hours. That means you won't be able to farm anything for the Guild Museum for 2 days. So make sure when you're ready to farm and you deposit the Quintessent Core that you utilize it effectively and that you make sure as many people are there as possible to make sure you can get the most out of your farming session. You also might want to check if you have any exhibits that are finished after you finish farming. If there are any that are complete, all you have to do to tier them up is have 4 players magic touch the exhibit sign and the exhibit will appear or level up if you already have the base tier unlocked. There are 3 different levels of the guild gallery: bronze, silver, and gold, with each level giving you more housing items you can craft at the gallery curator and a few extra exhibits you can unlock. The higher the level, the more items and time you'll have to spend to be able to reach the next one. You can check your progress for each exhibit from the museum creator. To upgrade a tier or level, once you have all the exhibits of the current level finished, go to the totem behind the gallery curator and magic touch it. The color on it is the level that you're currently at. If it's bronze, then you're at the bronze tier. If it's silver, then you're at the silver tier. If it's gold, you're at the gold tier. And if it's white, that means you're at tier 0 or level 0. Here are some tips and tricks to help you out while farming. You will need to kill bosses and mobs. I recommend sending your best team of hitters on bosses. For the mobs, you can still one-shot them with no buffs and an AoE even with a mediocre gear. you need to be a minimum of level 25 to be able to magic touch and activate the Prima magnetism effect. So if you have friends that are not max levels or don't have the best gear but are at least level 25, they can still collect Prima Materia even though they're not actually in Avalon. I recommend considering investing in a willcast pet that gives either curse or hex. They can add an extra buff that will help you make sure that you kill first turn. One of the best strategies for killing bosses is stacking feints on the boss. For example, one player mass feints, one player normal feints, and one player TC feints. Because you're leveled down to level 80, you will be unable to use cards like Epic, but you can still use the Colossus enchant. You might not be able to use level 170 AoEs, but you can still use 4 and 7 pip AoEs of your school. You may also fail pip sometimes because of the stat drop after the potion is activated. So Materia does not overflow, so make sure when you're farming to count the amount of items that your team is collecting or have an alt in the gallery that can check your progress, because you don't want to keep farming once you have collected all the items you need. You can move the gallery door by talking to Ian and selecting the museum curator and pressing on the choose gallery door. Then select one of the 5 locations and pick the world door you want. Here's a common bug that a few people in our guild have experienced. If you have multiple wizards in the same guild, there's a chance that some of those wizards won't be able to farm or collect the Prima Materia. This means that if you're farming with a team, even though on your screen it says that you are collecting, you might not actually be collecting and depositing it to the guild museum. If this is the case, you may want to try other characters on your account and see if any of them are able to collect. So a way to test to see if your wizards are collecting or not is to go to a mob and check how many items you have of that mob before you start farming. And then once you defeat the mob, check how many items it went up. For example, if you were supposed to collect 3 per wizard and there are 2 people in that battle, that number was supposed to go up by 6. If it only went up by 3, that means one of those 2 wizards are not able to farm. If it goes up by 6, then both of them are able to farm. And if it goes up by 0, then neither one of those 2 wizards are able to farm, and they should go check other wizards on that account and see if they are able to farm. If a wizard is confirmed that they are able to collect, that means, like, let's say those 2 wizards both collect the 3 that they need and the number goes up by 6, what you can do is you can match that one wizard that you know for sure is able to farm with any of the wizards or other people that are not sure if they can farm and see if the numbers are going up by 6 or by 3. The reason why I'm telling you make sure that there are 2 wizards in each battle is because you need at least 2 wizards per battle to be able to collect Prima Materia. Thanks for watching through the whole guide. If there's anything I missed or forgot to mention, make sure to let us know in the comments down below. Since it's still a new feature, a few things might change in future updates, but for now this is everything I know about the guild update. The guild museum, in my opinion, is one of the better guild community updates, so make sure to add it to your New Year's resolutions to reach the gold tier by the end of the year. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.